So today we're going to be looking at a laptop that's wonderful value for money and that I've been using for a while. Let's get right into... One second. Back up the truck.
Hey, what happened?
Where have I been? Why have I left the scene for the past 2 months? Why is it that my Snapchat video is making waves with over 1700 views and continuous growth, and it's got our channel over 100 subscribers, but I've not been around? Well, there have been a few things going on in March, mostly my exams. Yeah, exams. And apart from that, well, just exams really, nothing else. So I've been off the scene. I have been scripting videos, and which will be coming out in the next few weeks. So just watch out for that. But for now, let's continue. So. Laptops are amazing today. We've got very good powerful laptops. From huge bulky gaming laptops like the Acer Nitro to notebooks like the MacBook. What if I told you there was another notebook? A revolutionary notebook. Enter the Lenovo IdeaPad series. Just bear in your mind while I do this review that this laptop is $200 currently on Amazon. Let's look at the Lenovo IdeaPad S145-15IWL, or it is also called the Lenovo 81MV. Let's get right into it. First up, looking at the build quality, there's no indication that you're looking anything less than $400. Although it is made out of plastic, you can clearly see that it's got a very good finish to it. The front is the smooth glossy finish, so it does attract fingerprints. It's still a very good finish, and it's huge. This thing is 15 inches, 15.6 to be exact. But honestly, it's very compact in the sense that it doesn't really feel like it's 15.6. It more like feels like it's 14. We've also got our main ports. On the side we've got a USB and thankfully HDMI port. That's quite useful. We've also got headphone jack. People are ditching that these days. And a memory card slot. The whole chassis, as I mentioned, is plastic, and the back is the same trend with these rubber grip pads. 2 of them have come off due to use. And the cooling vent. More about that in a second. So build quality wise, this thing is solid mid-range. But let's see what this looks like on the inside, because that's the charm. While this is booting up, a subscription to the channel would be valuable. Did you get it? No? Okay. What about this screen? Because that's usually the highlight of most laptops. Well, this thing's a 1080p, so 1980 by 1080, and it's an LCD, an IPS LCD panel. And I know, that sounds underwhelming, but hey, it's $200. Look at the price point. The problem here is this is resistive. So, firstly, it doesn't work with touch. And secondly, this thing has very poor sunlight legibility, which means that viewing angles in harsh sunlight kind of suck. But they've made up for it by color saturation. So while watching video on this panel, it looks quite bright. The other thing is, this thing goes 180. It's not a yoga. It doesn't go all the way around because I already said this isn't a touchscreen, but it does go 180. And this has another implication that we'll talk about in terms of performance. But for now, it's quite good when you're watching video and lying in bed, which I don't think many people would do with this laptop, considering it's a 15-inch. But yeah, just putting out there. Okay, so the display was quite good. And I'm happy to say the good news doesn't end there. The performance is solid A grade as well. Now remember, this was a 2019 laptop, which was $400, and it's dropped to $200 now, which means it's packing a Core i5 8th gen. And the speciality here is this is a quad-core hyper-threaded processor, which means you're getting 2 processors, each with 4 cores. Now how does that translate to performance? Well, just doing this, flicking between the start menu really quickly, is quite smooth. And that also carries around for main UI performance. Even gaming to a certain extent is quite good. Now this is not completely true, as this thing still got integrated Intel graphics, which kinda suck, and no Nvidia, but you can still remove the chassis and just plop in a graphics card, I guess? Yeah, you can do that. This is also coupled with 8 gigs of RAM. Now 8 gigs of RAM today is minuscule, even phones, like low-end phones have that much, but it's fine, it works. You can also upgrade that. And as I talked about, this 180-degree screen has another implication. You see this area, this area, the hinge, has got its very own cooling vent. And that's one of the problems with this laptop. So you see, Lenovo had to compromise for space because it's a notebook and it's something that people would carry around. And what they chose to do, quite annoyingly, was rather than putting a cooling vent here or here on the side, they chose to plop in a cooling vent at the back of the chassis. Now, while this does save space, it means more heating. This is because the fans don't get enough space to free out all that air, to expel it all out, that the processor generates, all the heat. And the only other main cooling vent is, if we open this laptop up, here. And I genuinely don't understand who will bend their laptop so much just to get cooling. And the other problem is that Lenovo has thermalized their processor, which means that they don't kick up their fans as much. Which means that firstly, the processor is only clocked at 1.6 gigahertz, which is underwhelming, really underwhelming. Secondly, you can't overclock the processor. I tried it, trust me, I tried it, you can't. Just take my word. And third, even those 1.6 gigahertz is kind of being lessened as the heat increases. That's one of the main problems. But this creates one more big problem. The other problem is battery. See, the problem with notebooks usually is their battery, and this is also the case in Lenovo, because it's only packing a 4500 milliamp hour cell, which means that you're going to probably be lucky to get a 6 hour to 7 hour screen on time. And while that's good for phones, it kind of sucks for laptops. But there's more. Yeah, kill me now. Because of the thermal problems, the battery life is greatly reduced. Like now, after a few years of using this laptop, after 2 years rather, I'm only getting around 3 hours of screen on time, which is one day at a push, at a huge push, and usually it doesn't happen because Windows is a power-hungry software. So the problem here is you will have to replace your battery every 2 years. But the problem also arises because you can't really just remove the battery. You will have to remove the entire back case, put a new battery in, and then close it back, which I wouldn't recommend you to do. So you'll have to go to a service center every 2 years to switch the battery. Yeah, kind of a bummer there. So, how does this translate at the end? What's my verdict? Well, it's a good laptop. For $200, it's something that you should get. You probably don't really want to game on this. You don't want to play Call of Duty Warzone, but it works. Especially if you want to carry something that's portable and you don't want to spend a lifetime tuition fee on a Mac. This works reasonably well. Let me know though in the comments what laptops you use and what do you think about these cheap notebooks. Alright guys, this is Phoenix from Tech with Phoenix signing off. I'll see you next time.